Good morning, everyone. My name is Crystal, and welcome to my YouTube channel. It is Sunday morning. I feel tired. Basically, I went to bed. I've got a few hours sleep, so I've had some sleep. But my cat woke me up. My cat decided to start running about at 4:30 in the morning. It's very hot inside this flat, and the cat's obviously got lots of fur on him. Harry has, and he was uncomfortable. I think he wanted some fresh air, so I let him out on the balcony for a bit. So I think he was overheated and hot. Anyway, I thought, right, it's like 4:38. The newspaper delivery guy, because I get the Daily Mail newspaper, I thought that he comes just after 5 in the morning usually. So I thought, right, I'll stay up till 5 and wait for the newspaper man to deliver the paper. And last week he delivered the paper. I can't remember what time he delivered the paper last Sunday, but he's been delivering the papers about 5 o'clock in the morning. And today, no sign of him. No sign of him at all. Last Saturday, I didn't get my newspaper. He rang my buzzer and he told me that he couldn't get into the building. But why didn't he bring the newspaper that he had of mine on Saturday to me on Sunday? So I didn't get a newspaper last Saturday at all, and I pay for them. So I left it because he told me he couldn't get into the building. He told me to contact the newspaper office and to give him the code to get into the building. To give him the code to get into the door, and I thought, I don't like the sound of that. Anyway, I got my paper yesterday. He called at 5:04 in the morning. I let him in and he put the paper in my mailbox as he usually does, and then he went. Today I stayed up till gone 5. Didn't see him. I was so tired I fell back to sleep. And if the buzzer had rung, it's loud, and it's really loud, and it would have started Max barking. But there's been no ring on the buzzer. So I don't know what's going on at all. He didn't ring the buzzer. So I don't know what's happened. I haven't gone down to my mailbox to see if the newspaper's in there, and he's managed to get in. So we'll see. I feel tired, but it was one of those things. It was my cat that woke me up this morning. My cat. It's unusually hot inside this building. It ranges from 24 to 26 degrees inside the building, even when it's cool outside. I took my dog Max out for a walk last night, got ready, took him out. There was noise coming from downstairs, banging near the lifts and the second floor, and I waited for 5 or 10 minutes for whoever it was to go upstairs. They were like coming up and down. I don't know if it was the lads with the bikes again. I heard all this noise, and then I came back into my flat and waited for it to stop, and then I went back out and I took my dog outside. I've been having sort of therapy sessions, and the therapist has told me that those kids that were banging on my door, it could have been a setup. If that happens again, not to open the door, to inform the police, and to just stay clear and go out of the building when there's nobody about, which I'm trying to do, which is difficult when the kids are off school because it's school holidays. I went out of the building. I walked up to the top of the road. I noticed a car with Del as the number plate, in capital letters DEL, which is short for Derek. And then a car came down the road with John on it, JON. These are exclusive number plates, they're expensive. This isn't exactly a rich neighbourhood, it isn't. And there's exclusive number plates, they cost a fortune. So Del and John. And there was a car with the number plate SH. Shh, shh. I walked past these cars and onto the field, and I was already agitated, on edge, because I have eyes. I can see that this is all fake and imaginary, and I am poor, and these guys with the exclusive number plates are rich. So it's the elites playing with the poor, in my opinion. The elites, celebrities, people with money playing with the poor people. That's what I feel like. I'm a pawn in an upper class person's game. So I walked onto the field, and then there was this horrendous mess. I thought, what the effing hell is this? There was 2 glasses that had been taken from a pub, Stella Artois, wine glasses. So the pervert that keeps stalking me asked me if I like to drink wine. There was 2 used Stella Artois glasses by what looks like a royal seat, the brown wooden seat. There was tissue paper with shit on it, tissue paper with shit, excrement, all around the bench, and a pair of dirty black boxers. And it was horrible. People sit on that bench, there was shit all around it, human shit. I walked past the bench, I didn't touch anything. If someone's been sick and ill, they could carry germs. And if they've drunk out of those glasses, I wasn't going to touch them. Walked past the bench, there was lads hanging about at the top. So I crossed that way, away from people. The homeless tents, there's 2 green homeless tents outside the Mercedes-Benz building. Walked past those. One of the tents was open and one of the guys was playing music. I didn't even engage, I didn't look, I just walked past. I carried on walking and walking around, and I just walked across the field, and there was a guy with a black dog. The black dog was loose, and there was another guy walking back. Where I do my videos to go on YouTube by Costa Coffee, there was a weird old lady hovering about, a weird old woman. So I crossed over to let her go past, and she crossed over towards me. I did a little video for my YouTube, and she was hovering about by the co-op. She had the same shorts on as me, but they didn't have the bit folded up. So she had blue denim shorts on, but not this bit, and she was an old woman. There was a man on his mobile. I just walked around them all, and then I walked home. Where that Charlie character was in the over 55s building, right, hovering about the last time I saw him, there was young women laughing. These flats are supposed to be for older people, and I don't know what's going on in them. There was young females giggling in there, in where those over 55 flats inside, near the marketing suite inside there was young women laughing their heads off like they were drunk. I'm glad I didn't move into those flats. And Charlie goes in and out of them. So when I came back home, I felt distressed. I felt wary. I thought, what the fuck is going on here? It's like an acting set. It's like a virtual reality acting set, or like Big Brother's watching what you're doing. Because when I'd gone out in the afternoon, I was wearing an orange t-shirt, and there was a man in an orange t-shirt swearing with a woman with sunglasses on and long hair, and he was calling somebody a cunt and a leather, and leather is short for lesbian. And I recorded what I could of it, but I was also told, don't go near any violent arguments, don't go near suspicious people, and to keep myself to myself. Because it's involving drugs and drink, you see. It's always involving drugs and drink, alcohol and drugs. And I don't get involved with that. I don't drink alcohol, only socially, and I don't ever use drugs. I've never smoked weed. I came into my flat and I kept myself to myself. The first advice I was given when I took this flat was to not talk to the neighbours, to just get on with my life and not let neighbours into my flat, because it causes trouble. That's how arguments happen. That's what I was told. So in a way, that woman that gave me that advice must have known what was going on before I even moved into this property. So I sat down. You know, you make yourself a cup of tea, a snack, you either watch telly, listen to the radio, music, chill. And that's what I did. I'm staying out of TikTok. It's toxic. I'm no longer doing live streams. I don't know who those people were that were talking to me and watching, but there's some weird, now I'm not doing live streams, there's some weird women hovering about and weird men since I've stopped live streaming. And since I've blocked people, and I talked to that black man from America who started to become possessive of me, and I'd only spoken to him once, so I blocked the call. He was acting possessive, like he wanted to come over. The conversation between me and this black doctor will be recorded. Every call we make is recorded. So when we call the bank, it's recorded for training purposes. So I have every right to record a phone conversation that I believe is fake and is not going to help me in any way. They don't help. My doctors are black doctors. They're black females or black men. Everything is controlled by these people. I don't believe my bank. When I ring the people on the bank, the last lady was coughing and sneezing. And you can't talk to someone when they're constantly coughing and sneezing. And they'll ask you, why do you want to do that? Well, that's my business. I'm an adult. Do you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't, and none of this seems right or real. Like they're always stalking, watching, asking what you're doing and being nosy. So yeah, I gets up and I waits for the delivery guy, and there's no delivery guy rings the buzzer. And if my paper doesn't get delivered and I pay for it, then I'm going to report it to the company, because I'm not paying for papers for someone else to have. people getting free papers and it's my paper I've paid for. No, I should just stop the subscription service as well. Because what happened to my paper last Saturday? They're not cheap. The Sunday newspapers are over £2. You're no, I'm not soft and I'm not stupid. I let that one go. But if I start, people start to, like, my papers don't get delivered, then I'm going to report it. Also to the police as well. I'm not soft and stupid. So as for today, I just keep myself to myself and get on with my business and do my stuff. But I'm in sort of a virtual prison. I can't do anything. Whatever you do, they're all connected to each other and they're all stopping justice happen and they're covering shit up. So how can I break through these corrupt individuals, including the ones in the police, the social services and the doctors that I use? Do you know, I've cancelled a blood test because I don't trust the nurse. The name is McCartney. That my nurse's name was McCartney. What, Paul McCartney? McCartney. My ex-husband used to joke about Linda McCartney, Paul McCartney's wife that passed on. He used to make jokes about Linda McCartney because she used to do vegan meat, vegan sausages and vegan burgers. It's all corrupt. It's all corrupt. They're all corrupt. They're all hiding something and covering something up. And I'm not getting the proper medical help or support I need, the financial support I need. I'm not allowed to socialise with anybody because I might tell somebody what happened, you see. I've already whistle blown what everything's happened to me. But what, to corrupt police and corrupt social services and corrupt NSPCC and fucking shit. So I can't do anymore. I tried to do the best I could to help my family, and these corrupt individuals they're just disgusting. I can't do anymore. I'm in a prison. I don't know how it's being done. I mean, you've got child abuse cases going back years ago that were covered up, and the victims are now adults and it's ruined their lives. And this is what happens when you cover up child abuse and paedophilia. It ruins people's lives. So they're not doing anyone any favours by covering all this up. And this never-ending cycle of abuse will carry on. And, you know, high up people are covering it up, put it that way. High up people are covering child abuse and paedophilia up. So it's not going to stop and it's going to get worse. And the world is getting worse. It's getting dangerous. I just walked up the road yesterday and it looked like a man was going to hit a woman in broad daylight in the street. Violent argument with disgusting swearing in front of children. It was horrific. And this area is supposed to be quite good, Rochester. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning. On this day in 1949, the world's first jet-propelled airliner, the de Havilland Comet, made its maiden test flight in England. The jet engine would ultimately revolutionize the airline industry, shrinking air travel time in half by enabling planes to climb faster and fly higher.
Alexa, what's the time, please?
It's 8:40 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Sunday, July 27th, 2025 in postcode GBME11.
Alexa, what's the weather outlook?
Currently, in Rochester it's 17 degrees Celsius with cloudy skies. Today, you can expect showers, with a high of 22 degrees and a low of 13 degrees.
Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
Why don't grasshoppers like football? They're all about cricket.
And Alexa, which celebrity was born on this day?
Celebrities born on the 27th of July include Julian McMahon, Park Yu-young, Maya Rudolph, Triple H, and Alex Rodriguez.
Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Unlock exclusive features and content from LBC and even join the conversation. Send a comment to LBC. Just say, ask Global Player to link my account.
Palestinian state, saying that it would create a launch pad for Hamas to annihilate Israel. Is this going to make that conversation easier? I don't know. They will be coming from slightly different positions. That's probably an understatement. And Donald Trump has said that Sir Keir Starmer is slightly more liberal than he is. And so I think this is always going to be tricky, not just between those two men, but of course the relationship that the US has with Israel as well. And then where Sir Keir Starmer needs to place his allegiances. Does he go with Europe and push more towards Emmanuel Macron and perhaps the German leader's position? Or does he align himself more strongly with Donald Trump for other political reasons? It's not just, we always know in these conversations about what is happening on the ground. It's bigger picture, and there is so much to consider when he's having these talks.
Excellent reporting, Laura Makin-Isherwood. Thank you. Now then, Bob is in Canvey Islands, been extremely patient. Good morning to you, Bob. Your thoughts on phone snatching, sir?
Good morning, Mr. Wright. Yes, no problem at all. Quite a sobering dialogue from your previous caller there. Puts everything into perspective. However, sir, I don't think you're right in assuming that everyone should be up in their game to protect themselves and take action to prevent these crimes being committed. London is just awash with crime at the moment. Absolutely awash. Be it knife crime, be it shoplifting, and indeed the topic that we're discussing now, mobile phone theft. Yeah. What is Mayor Khan doing about this? What is that little weasel doing about any of this? Nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. I joined the police, the Met Police, back in 1995. I'm retired now, but I'm still in the security industry, doing different bits and pieces. And I look back, we had control of the streets back then.
Yeah, but you forget that the Tories, not Mayor Sadiq Khan, the Tories got rid of 25,000 officers and then someone's going to U-turn and replace them with far junior officers. That's going to have an effect. Sadiq Khan doesn't choose the policing for London. It's a national issue.
Well, no, it's not a national issue, is it? We are the hotspot for this type of crime.
Yeah, but it's funded from the Home Office through general taxation. He has a police and crime commissioner, but the actual numbers of police, how policing is, the provision of police is government, central government.
That's as may be. However, this man is more keen on investing this money in ULEZ, right, ripping off the average person, and then,
surely cleaning the air so they don't have thousands of deaths caused by air pollution every year.
I don't think we're on the same page there, Mr. Wright. I really don't think. Anyway,
you don't think thousands of people die from air pollution? Okay. All of this may be true, Bob, but if there's all these things, as you say them, are true, what's wrong with a bit of personal responsibility? Why expect, as you say, the weaselly mayor to protect you? If you think of him in such a weaselly way, protect yourself.
Well, don't you worry about me, Mr. Wright. I've got myself well and truly protected. However, I think about the average Joe public. The average person that's walking down the street should not have to think about this sort of thing.
I know they shouldn't, but we live in the real world, don't we? And you'd be mad, foolish, not to consider there are bad people that want your expensive stuff.
Why? Where are these bad people coming from?
I imagine they're on every street corner. Bob, pleasure talking to you. Yesterday, I flagged up a story. It's in the Daily Telegraph. They're running a campaign to make prostate cancer testing a national issue. It's the number one cancer killer for men. I think 12,000 people die every year from something like 50,000 diagnoses. And the Telegraph is asking, why don't we offer men a PSA blood test? It's not the most accurate, but it is an indicator of prostate cancer. I have to say, from the first read of the campaign yesterday and their follow-up today, it seems to my untrained eyes as an entirely excellent suggestion. So I'm indebted to Professor Pat Price, an academic clinical oncologist at Imperial College in London and founder of Catch Up Cancer campaign, to hear what she says. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
So am I on the right track in thinking this is a good news story?
Yes, and good for the Telegraph and good for Prostate Cancer UK, really. The important thing is for your listeners to understand is we know that general screening for everybody with PSA won't save lives, but what they're pushing for is to identify the high-risk people. And that is currently being worked on. There is a national committee that should be reporting by the end of the year on how we can identify the high-risk people and what are the best screening tests for them. And once we have that in place, then that is likely to save lives.
I don't want to be in any way negative, but I am curious as to why such a prevalent illness that can have be very successfully treated if caught early, that we're sort of so slow to addressing it when many other cancers, or at least some other cancers, we're tackling head on.
No, really good question, and it's really important to sort of get this message over. The thing is that prostate cancer can be extremely variable and extremely common. People can have prostate cancer sometimes for 20 years and it do nothing. So we need to, and there are some cancers, it can be devastating. And we don't know enough yet about how to easily distinguish the two. Because if you sometimes are diagnosed very early, it may be you don't need treatment for many, many years or at all. And so we don't want to over-treat some people, and yet we do want to find out the ones that you really need to treat. It's not quite as simple as other things. You know, you can imagine like a breast cancer, you have a lump, or a chest x-ray, you have a mass. Easy to see, easy to biopsy, easier to deal with. Whereas prostate cancer, difficult area, biopsies can be very tricky, tests aren't very good, and sometimes it's okay to do nothing. So it's the problem with the disease, but we're making great strides to find out the nasty ones to treat and to find out the ones we can leave well alone.
I've been controlling a Royal Marsden investigation into prostate cancer. Its links with Lynch syndrome, which is a genetic flaw, which I know is linked to different cancers such as bowel cancer. And it's been fascinating to witness from my point of view the steps we are making, that we're definitely moving in the right direction. And I remember, I think it was only just a few weeks ago, reading about how many men were reluctant to come forward to speak to their doctors about suspected prostate cancer because they were worried about old-fashioned treatments. And there still seems to be so much misinformation really about prostate cancer out there, Pat.
Oh, you're absolutely spot on there. And I think this is so important, like that you're discussing it now, we can discuss it. We've got to get rid of the misinformation. And importantly, we've got to get people, particularly men, to talk about symptoms and to sort of, and you never want to normalise cancer, but we have to face it that 1 in 6 men will get prostate cancer. Now, the more we can talk about it, the more men will come forward not being worried. And I think for men out there, if you're worried, remember, if you've got some urinary symptoms like you're having trouble starting or this type of thing, or the flow of your urine isn't good enough, then do see your GP. The vast majority of people will just have normal benign things. And even if you do get diagnosed with prostate cancer, 3/4 of people are fine in 10 years' time and survive. So it's the messages, come forward, talk about it, talk about your colleagues. The Marsden had that great bus that went round into the sports. But interestingly, not only prostate cancer, they found, I think, 20% of people with high blood pressure. You know, great, let's do this. Let's have messages about our weight, our diet, our exercise, and find men where they are, at football matches, in the pub. Let's get talking. So well done you for talking about it today.
Well, I'm also, I have to say, I spend a lot of time in pubs, possibly too much time in pubs, and I do hear gentlemen talking about things like this nowadays, which I certainly wouldn't say was the case 20 years ago. So yeah, the times are changing, and thanks to people like you, Professor Pat Price, thank you. More of your thoughts on whether it's your fault you get your phone nicked. A lot of people saying that mobile phone theft has increased because organised crime is switching from drug dealing to phone stealing. I wonder if there's any truth to that. More of your thoughts to come. 0345 6060 973, the number. But first, here's Mike Hughes with the latest LBC News headlines.
The Israeli military is to pause fighting in 3 areas of Gaza to allow more humanitarian assistance to get in. Talks aimed at avoiding 30% tariffs will be held between Donald Trump and the head of the European Commission in Scotland later. England are making final preparations ahead of their women's Euros final against Spain this evening. LBC weather: any rain across the northern half of the UK will push east with scattered showers elsewhere. A high of 23 degrees.
LBC travel line, Dave Goff. It's slow on the M23 southbound. There's a lane closed between junction 8 for the M25 and junction 9 for Gatwick Airport because a car has broken down. Lambeth Bridge is closed in both directions all day because of roadworks. On the tube, there are severe delays on the Circle and Hammersmith and City lines after problems with the points earlier. There were also severe delays on the Bakerloo line between Queen's Park and Elephant and Castle. On the trains, South Western Railway have delays and cancellations at New Malden as engineering works are overrunning. On the DLR, there's no service from Bank or Tower Gateway to Canary Wharf and Canning Town, or between Canary Wharf and Stratford until tomorrow. And on London Overground, there's no Mildmay line between Clapham Junction and Willesden Junction, and there's no Suffragette line between Barking and Barking Riverside.
This is LBC.
I'm telling you, raise taxes, that's how.
Cat spending, less waste.
Right, guys, that's just weird. I went downstairs to check if the newspaper had come. It wasn't there. The parcel for the guy upstairs was still there. I came upstairs, and about 10 minutes afterwards, the newspaper guy arrives in a silver car. He's got a blue gilet on, long grey hair, rings my buzzer, let him in, and then the police. He drives off in a silver car. The police come down the road. The police. Because the guy looks like my dad, Derek.